Hey everybody, this is Rustin Rose with the Examiner and Metalholic, and with us today, the lovely and talented Liv Kristine of Liv's Eyes. How are you doing?
Thank you very much. I'm great. It's almost midnight here in Germany right now, but I'm here. I'm right here for you, and it's an honor talking to you.
We appreciate it. You've been very busy between Liv's Eyes albums in 2009 and Mirror last year, and then solo albums Skin Tight in 2010, and this year you're releasing Libertine. You're a busy woman.
Yes, I definitely am. Well, apart from that, I'm a mom too. So of course, family always comes first. But next to family, there is music, and music's been my life since I was a teenager. So I guess I'm just lucky. I was born with a very creative mind. My band members tend to say that it's more kind of a hyperactive artistic soul within me. So I'm actually never bored. It's a fact. And if there is an atrocity or Liv's Eyes production going on, I continue with my solo work, with my solo composition. So there is always something going on. And the greatest thing of all is that we have our own studio, Master Sound Studio, here in the southwest of Germany. So if I'm not at home, I'm in the studio, actually.
Well, I was going to say, like Alexander and Thorsten can talk. I mean, they've got Liv's Eyes, plus they help you with your solo albums, plus they do Atrocity. It's like you guys never stop.
It's true. It's like a never-ending story, a never-ending circle. It seems to be like first Atrocity, and then Liv's Eyes, and then solo, and then Atrocity, Liv's Eyes, solo again. So, but this is our living. We live from doing this. And very first place, I'm grateful to my fans who make this possible, make this happen. So I consider myself to be very lucky to be able to do this and do this for a living.
And we're glad that you are. Now, going back to when you were a teenager, as you just mentioned, was there an album or a performance or something that happened for you that was sort of that light bulb or epiphany where you said, this is what I want to do?
Well, actually, that happened long before my teens. That happened when I was 5, 6 years old, because as I entered this world, my parents were very young, and my dad's always been very much into Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, Iron Maiden, and this is the kind of music I grew up with. And on the other hand, there was Edward Grieg, Tchaikovsky, Wagner, great composers. So to combine metal with the sweet tunes, classical music, and put a first soprano voice on top, that was kind of my way to go. And when I started singing, I wasn't even able to talk. And my parents realized that there is something special with this child. So they've always been supporting me in whatever I want to do. So music's always been a part of my life. But what I haven't done so far is I never studied music, and I never had any singing lessons. So, well, maybe there'll be time for that someday.
Now, obviously what you do with Liv's Eyes and what you do on your solo albums, that there's a marked difference. But for you, what does your solo work fulfill in you that you don't get out of Liv's Eyes?
Oh, well, it's as I already mentioned, there are always many ideas inside me, and I'm always trying to be creative and to become a better artist, to to learn from what I'm doing, and it's the experience throughout these 18, 20 years that has made me become the artist I am today. And to me, it has always been important to be to follow my artistic heart. So when I came up with the idea that I would like to compose and release a solo album, I was in the beginning of my 20s, and I got this chance through a record label that gave me a proper record deal. So all this happened, and since then I'm just very, very glad to have both the metal genre and the more indie pop rock genre, because in these ways I can fulfill my artistic dreams and live out all my ideas, all my creative work.
Now, the new album, Libertine, tell us in your mind how it sort of compares to the last album, Skin Tight, and sort of what the story is behind this record.
Well, Skin Tight was dedicated to the children of this world, and there was many of the tracks on Skin Tight were about my own childhood, whereas Libertine is more connected to my life or moments taken from my own life, being a grown-up woman, a mother, lover, and all these things. So Libertine is a more grown-up album, and Skin Tight was probably had a more campfire sound to it. A lot of acoustic guitars, whereas Libertine has very deep-going emotional ballads played on the piano next to songs that probably would remind you of my early days with Theatre of Tragedy. So it's Libertine is kind of a back to the roots album.
Now, I assume Alexander and Thorsten worked on this one as they do all the other ones. Was there anybody else involved on this record besides the three of you?
Well, actually, I do have different live musicians every time there is a tour or a single gig. It always depends on who is there right then. So, but this time Alessandro played the piano, and that was the first time I worked with this man, and he's absolutely fantastic. And JB did all the bass lines and came up with a bunch of great ideas. So a couple of new people working with me in my team for Libertine, but in the end, it's always Thorsten, Alexander, and myself.
The family.
Yeah, the family, exactly, yeah.
Now, I know every song on the album is special to you in one way or another, but are there any songs in particular that sort of stand out that have an extra special connection or meaning for you?
Well, it's always hard to choose between my own songs, but Silence is actually the song that kind of makes me shiver sometimes, or lose a tear. It was recorded in a one-take session. That's the way I actually prefer to record my ballads, to build up the emotional expression, to make it more intimate. So, Silence is it's not a typical ballad. It would remind some of you of some of the more slower songs from my expand Theatre of Tragedy. But on the other hand, it's quite different because it starts with the piano and then it builds up, and suddenly you have the heavy metal guitars in there, and the voice is going just higher and higher and stronger. So it's a very emotional song, and it was very emotional to record it, and I would never imagine, I couldn't imagine that it would be this way, but silence has always been important to me. I grew up by the sea, somewhere on the countryside in Norway, and I grew up in silence. And the only thing I heard, except from silence, was the music in my own head. So, and silence is still the best way for me to relax, just to have complete silence. It's, and I need it sometimes, and I yearn for it. So, and especially since this tinnitus appeared in my left ear, I miss silence even more. So, it's a very emotional song for me.
It's a beautiful song. My favorite, at least this week, who knows what it'll be next week, is Vanilla Skin Delight.
Oh, thank you very much, you rocker.
What's that one about?
Well, Vanilla Skin Delight is, it's about the fun times you have, when you just don't think about anything anymore and you just go out and have fun with your friends. Glitter shoes on dirty pavement. It's the way the song starts, it's already like, you can imagine that very moment where you have people running across the street and looking for another bar to enter. I just wanted to mention the title, Libertine. Libertine is often, you find it in if you find it in a dictionary, it will say that it's free sexuality, or the way of thinking of sexuality in a free way. And some of the songs on the album is connected to this theme. On the other hand, you have some of the songs on the album describing the everlasting or the long-lasting way of loving someone, like you do when you're still, hopefully, when you've been married to someone for 20 years and you still feel sometimes these butterflies in your stomach when you return home after having been 2 weeks away. So there are two sides. The theme love is actually being. That's what I'm trying to describe on this album, to define in two different ways. And then you have Vanilla Skin Delight, and on the other hand you have panic or silence. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Love, love, love.
The various shades therein. Well, it's a wonderful album. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. But you guys are already working. You guys are already working, I understand, on the next Leaves Eyes album, which, if what I've heard is true, will be a little bit heavier.
Yeah, that's what I heard from Thorsten and Alexander. We just finished the rough work, like 12 demo songs, and it's definitely going to be a rougher album than Meredith. I'm excited. I'm very excited. Probably less orchestral and bombastic, but rougher in a way. And I think that's good. One wish is, or I told Alexander that I really wish to have more of his voice on this album than on Meredith, because I think it was like a handful of songs in which he did some male vocals. So let's see what happens this time. I'm very excited, and I'm just in the middle of writing lyrics and finding out what the concept is going to be like.
Well, and Meredith had more of a folk influence than some of your previous stuff. Is that something you think will still carry over onto the new album?
I think so, because that's something which is very important to me, even more than the classical touch. It's really my wish to keep the folk touch. And since we just arrived from Wacken Open Air in Germany, actually, we were headliner this year, and we had Vikings on stage. I even had my Viking ship on stage, a huge one. I actually left it in the Heavy Metal Museum in Hamburg because it's just, well, actually my neighbor needs his barn. It took just too much space. So we had all these folky elements on stage, and we played like Krokedisa and all these songs being more folky, and the audience really loved it. And that was that very moment for me, which I thought, okay, this is the right way to go with Leaves Eyes.
Now, your sister, Carmen Elise, who's in Midnight Soul, or however it's pronounced, because I don't want to butcher it, another beautiful voice like you. She's done some backing vocals on some of your guys' stuff, and then, of course, she's busy with her own stuff. But have the two of you as sisters ever thought of doing sort of a solo project, just the two of you?
Well, that would be absolutely amazing. Well, my sister actually left yesterday. She visited me in Germany between Wacken and all my promotion work. So it was lovely to see her. And she's also working on a new Midnight Soul album. You said it correctly, by the way, Midnight Soul. So, we actually do have some plans, and I installed GarageBand on her iPad, so I'm sure this is going to happen in the nearest future. GarageBand makes it happen.
That will be wonderful. Before we get out of here, besides family and, of course, music, what else are you passionate about?
Sports. Running, roller skiing, climbing, swimming, yoga. Yeah, I'm just well, if there is a chance for me to be outside and do sports, that's the best way for me to relax. Actually, well, it's important to stay in a good physical shape, and I see sports as a great way to just clear your mind, and I always have the greatest ideas when I'm running through the forest, and that was actually how Liv's Eyes, the idea of Liv's Eyes, came into existence. So I will stay with that and continue doing my sports, even on tour. So at least an hour a day. So yeah, it's something which does me good. Yeah.
I also sort of picture you curling up in a chair on a rainy day and reading a book. Are you a reader as well, or?
Oh yes, I read a lot, and it's always a good chance to even better my German. German is probably now my second mother tongue, something like that. And it's always great to read Norwegian, just to keep my Norwegian in a good shape, and English, of course, and I just love ancient languages like Old English or Gaelic. So reading is always important, especially when it comes to my lyrics and concepts. So a cup of tea or a glass of red wine and a heap of books. That's also me. It's true. You're definitely right.
There's something comforting about that, right? You know?
Yeah, it's true.
Well, Liv Kristine of Liv's Eyes, and of course your wonderful solo work. Liv, thanks so much for taking the time. Sorry we had a little bit of an issue there, but we got it resolved. So, and it's wonderful.
Oh, that's great. That's great. There are 10,000 of kilometers between us. I think still it's amazing that we make this happen.
But the music connects us one way or the other. So
absolutely. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What are the touring plans for the band, and are you doing any solo dates for Libertine?
Well, first of all, I'm going to be touring with Liv's Eyes and Firewind, Gus, the guitar player of Ozzy. Yeah, we'll be touring Europe together in September, October, and after that, I will hopefully do a couple of solo shows. First, probably the first 5 in Europe, and then I do hope that I will get the chance to tour the U.S. next year, beginning of next year. That would be for me like a dream coming true, because, I never played with my ex-band, Theater in the States, and I never played a solo show either, so it's about time.
It would be wonderful. Liv, thanks so much. Go have a wonderful evening as it's turning into the next day for you over there.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure and honor talking to you. Wish you all the best. Bye. Bye.